Hello, everyone. I hope you guys had a wonderful day and are making some really good trades. Let me dive into some analysis here for you guys. We're going to start off with the SPY. I didn't do a recap on Friday. Had a little bit too much to do, but I'm going to be covering a little bit on what happened last week during the close and what we can expect this week. So, this week, we're opening up pretty much flat, down a little bit. It's pretty uh, non-event day. The market is really waiting on that data report for tomorrow and Wednesday. So tomorrow we got PPI. That's going to be a bit of a moose boosh before the big event. Obviously, is CPI for the week. Probably is in my opinion. I don't think we have anything else. I guess there's core retail sales on Thursday, and that's about it. Right. So you got that, and I mean unemployment claims every week, but that's about it. So let's take a look at our weekly time frame for the SPY. We opened a new weekly candle, and now this one is basically flat. I would say to neutral, a little bit more bearish than bullish, if anything. And then the IWM definitely way more bearish. 17 and a -5 on the dual band strength index. It's already down 90 basis points today. SPY, I think we just covered SPY. I think we are talking. Oh, SPY. Sorry. SPY and triple Qs, basically the same thing. And the Dow Jones more bearish than bullish. So looking at these two indices here, looks like it might put some pressure on the SPY and Qs. The VIX right now, had a big breakout last week. This week doesn't look like it's doing much. Although on the 1 hour, looks like we could have found the bottom on the UVIX. We are currently in a trade. I told people I was getting long around the $6 mark here. So we're already up a nice little 10%, but that kind of needs to hold. We'll see how everything plays out tomorrow with PPI. Let's take a look at a few other things. So our count hasn't really changed much. Now I've been taking a look at the cycles here, and I believe the 45-minute cycle is going to be coming to an end if it does break this trend line. I'm also I'm also watching. Sorry, my dog is crying right now. I'm also watching the S&P here for this trend line as well on the 4 hour, 45-minute cycle. If this one's gonna break, and yeah, that's basically it. If it breaks, then that's most likely gonna lead to a drawdown in here in the markets. But I'm expecting a pump, right? I want a little bit more upside, so that's why I said this wave three could have been finished here. Although I don't really like this as the wave three. Um, I think you could force it if you want, or it could extend even higher, right? So it depends how PPI is going to play out. If it plays out nice, then we're going to get a pump into this area. A lot of people are going to FOMO in, and in my opinion, it's just going to be another trap for another leg down. Looking at Bitcoin, a little bit of a leading indicator, I guess. It was dropping earlier on. Now it's starting to kind of dissipate. It's kind of pushing back up. It's kind of a little bit all over the place. 1 hour is looking bearish. 4 hours still looking bearish right now. We'll have to see more. I'll follow up with that, you guys, on tomorrow. And let's take a look at the TLT. So I'll take a look at the yields here in the bonds. Give me 1 second. So the TLT looks like it's pushing back up. So it looks like the yields are pulling down, which means this wave 4 should be in, and we should see some more downside in the bonds. Something else to pay attention to is USDJPY. If this continues down, then that means the yen is going to continue to strengthen, and that is bearish for the markets. That's bearish for the Nikkei, and it's bearish for the overall market. Right now, I believe there's a bank or a financial investment bank that it's not a big one. It's right. I mean, maybe it's a big one. It's reporting something around 450 to 350 million dollars in losses. It's suspending payouts, canceling dividends. So yeah, it's going to be a big loss for this financial company, and hopefully the other banks can hold up. But if all the other financial banks start to roll down here, it's going to be a big problem for the market as a whole. Obviously, we want the financial sector to hold up, and if it can't hold up, and the tech sector is already on shaky legs, that means we could see some more downside coming here in the short term. And again, we're already in a pretty steep downtrend at the moment. So we'll see. Let's take a look at a few individual names. So we've been covering a lot of individual names, right? Apple, NVDA, all those stocks. So NVIDIA, sorry, not NVIDIA, Apple continuing to bounce up here. Kind of looks like a corrective move as well. I don't really like this as an impulse. It could mean that maybe it's looking for another leg down here. And if that's the case, then this is going to extend even lower. I can give you guys a target right now if it wants to play out kind of like the S&P and the rest of the market is trading at like right now. And if it wants to do something like this, then ultimately it's going to head back down to 190 to 172, right? Before it's all said and done. It had a nice bounce area here, right? So you could see the initial buy area was respected, but it doesn't mean it can't break it and head to another buy area. So yeah, you guys can take these as little trades. You could buy it on this dip here and rode up another 10% move on Apple. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, obviously everyone loves NVIDIA. Looks like it's pushing back up here. It's in the C leg at the moment. In this X wave, it can continue to chop sideways. We have earnings coming on later in August, late August, so it's still a ways away. But if the C leg ends early, then it could really, to be honest, it can truncate and it can end early at any moment. And if it wants to end here, then the X wave is in. It truncated like the rest of the market, which I think it could be, and then you're gonna head down in a Y leg. Now, a lot of people like to nitpick picking tops and stuff, and it's difficult. We nailed this top and we wrote it down. Doesn't mean we're gonna nail this top here. We could easily, I already started a position here to try and bet against the market, but we could easily ride this. We could easily pump up into this area, and I'm ready to add to the short if we do get to this area, and I'll stop out if we go above here. But you never know what this market's going to do. It could be playing out a flat and a super bearish, a super bullish scenario where you come back up in the next. You wreck the bears. Sorry, you wreck the bulls, then you wreck the bears, and you come back down. But for now, this is what I have. I think this is what we're going to play. This is how this is going to play out. I'm watching the 4-hour cycle as well closely to see if it can hold up. All right, let's get back to some other stocks here. I'll continue. Let's take a look at Tesla. I haven't checked what Tesla's been doing in a while. So Tesla is really just chopping sideways. I think Tesla needs a pump, so I think we may need more upside before this is all said and done. Tesla could be a leading indicator. If it wants to go 5 waves up, the target is up here, and then that's a nice short. But if it doesn't and it wants to end early, then ultimately it's going to be a very ugly correction, a very painful correction, and this is going to rip down to 165 to 143. That's the buy area for Tesla. Let's take a look at a few other names here. Let's scroll down. So Roku, like I said, is a very difficult trade right now, very painful to try and buy and hold at the moment. There's no buy and hold in this market, I would say, other than maybe the 20-year yield. The 20-year bond, which, by the way, it's kind of too late to buy, in my opinion. Buying it now is a little bit chasing, but there was a trade opportunity back here at $95.50. I was telling you guys, if you were following back in April to June, April to March, I was saying we're looking for a buy on the TMF to TLT, and it looks like we nailed the low here. We are still in our position on TMF at the lows, and it looks like it's continuing to rally higher. It looks like this trade has played out amazingly, and we're going to continue to hold it, as I do believe the yields are going to continue to drop. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe it's emergency rate cuts. Maybe there's more downside in the market, and then they just can't. The market can't hold up, and then the Fed's going to pivot. They're going to cave in at Jackson Hole, and they're going to cut rates. Let's take a look at a few other things. So we just checked TLT. Let's check the other names here. Let's take a look at the IWM. We haven't checked the IWM, so the IWM still hasn't hit its target area. Again, the IWM is looking increasingly bearish. I don't like how it's already not trying to go back higher. It could be in a 1-2 setup, right? A very small, move here in the C leg. and it could be doing this, which means the PPI is going to be good, and we're going to see some upside tomorrow in the market, which could drive all the indices up. And if that's the case, that's the scenario that we want. But if it doesn't and it's bearish, then ultimately we're gonna get a waterfall sell-off in the IWM just because the structure is not looking the best at the moment. Let's take a look here. So we'll cover some other things. So talk about oil. So oil, probably playing out a different trade, different setup here. Probably something like a flat. Looks like it on the 4-hour. Could have ended today as it made a new high here in the C. But ultimately, I think it may need a little bit more upside. The target area is $81.47. But again, I stopped out of my oil short right now. I tried to play another setup here down here. But with so many geopolitical things going on in the Middle East, I don't really like this setup anymore. It's kind of like it's too risky. It's like a big tub of gasoline and someone's playing with matches on the other side, and it could explode in your face at any moment. But at the same time, it could also rip down. All right, let's cover a few more things. So gold also going up, obviously on fears of the Middle East, and the DXY is kind of just chopping sideways here, but it looks like the DXY is going to go for another leg down, which should be bearish for the market. It means the Japanese yen is probably strengthening against the U.S. dollar, and that's going to put pressure on the whole market. You don't want the JPY to be strengthening right now. It's definitely hurting the market more than it's helping it. And the Japanese they're not going to have a choice. They're going to have to raise rates at one point. I don't care what they say. They're not going to raise rates during when the markets are financially unstable. That's none of their concern. They're gonna have to raise to preserve their, or else they're gonna let the hyperinflation destroy their country, and then that's it, right? All right, so that's basically it. I could take a look at wave edge for you guys. So, I mean, on the SPY and the Qs, we haven't seen any buying on the daily. And again, the daily buying doesn't really come unless you get extreme moves. Like on the SPY all the way down here, that's the only time you got big buying at the October lows. Same thing for the Dow Jones on the way down and the Qs, right? SPY. So on the 4-hour, you saw some buying on the Qs, I believe. On the Qs, there was the buyers here. Looks like they want to drive this back up, or maybe they're just dip buying, but the low isn't in yet, which it looks kind of rough right now. I don't like this pattern. And then there's a lot of bullish people. Again, they're so far the bullish people are correct because they bought the dip and it's going up, right? But could they be wrong on a big reversal? Will this low hold? That is to be seen, right? We're gonna see if we get this correction and if we double bottom, then that's perfect. Then it's gonna most likely gonna moonshot all the way back up, but you're gonna need some pretty damn good news. And I think that's about it, guys. I'm going to do another video for GameStop. So GameStop is looking good here so far. So far, so good. It looks like it wants to probably moon in this third wave. It's got a nice 1-2-1-2 setup, and it could actually explode up at any moment. So maybe the IWM, that's going to be the move that we're waiting for, and it's going to go up into the 212 level. All right. Have a good day, guys. Peace.